Hey everyone, I hope you are doing well. Just wanted to showcase another team here in the Open Great League, and this is another team that has been featured by the content creator Pogogrind. So please feel free to give his channel a like and subscribe. He showcased this exact team that you are seeing here on the screen, and it consists of Altaria in the lead, Registeel as the safe swap, and Deoxys-Defense in the back. And of course, all of these mons are pretty much running their standard movesets here. Altaria with Dragon Breath, Sky Attack, and Moonblast, of course. Registeel with Lock-On, Focus Blast, and the Legacy Zap Cannon. And then Deoxys-Defense with Counter, Psycho Boost, and Thunderbolt. You can choose to run Flash Cannon on your Registeel, but I think Focus Blast and Zap Cannon also provide pretty much great all-around coverage as well, with the exception of mons like Trevenant or like a grass and poison type Pokemon like a Shadow Vic or a Venusaur. But in any case, all of these three Pokemon are pretty bulky in their own respects and handle most of the meta very well. So without further ado, just going to go ahead and jump right into the commentary here on these battles. I will also quickly point out that Galarian Stunfisk is actually a core breaker here for this team because it does beat all three of these Pokemon, but it's only very not too big of a core breaker, I would say. It does beat them, but of course with the team effort you will be able to beat the Galarian Stunfisk. It's just that it'll give you a little bit of a harder time, but it's not like one individual Pokemon can beat a Galarian Stunfisk there. But in any case, with this team, these three Pokemon can beat Galarian Stunfisk given the correct situation. But I will be going up here against a Bastiodon, and they do come in with the Galarian Stunfisk again. Though at this point, there isn't really much that I can do. The only thing I can do is just chip it with as much counter damage as I can. And of course, my Altaria at this point is already super low. I think at this point, I'm just going to go ahead and throw in the towel here with a Bastiodon and a Galarian Stunfisk. It's just pretty hard to deal with. And then the Registeel is probably the best Bastiodon counter. So quite an interesting team here from the opponents, an ABA Steel team. Probably should have been more like an ABB style team. So I am going to shield this move, but at this point there's really nothing that I can do. They just go for a Rock Slide here at this point. And yep, given that they still have the Bastiodon in the back, I did try to catch a move on the Altaria, which didn't really work out. And of course, at this point my Deoxys-Defense is too low. I won't be able to counter down before it smacks me down. So good game, well played. Hopping into the next battle here, we have Altaria going up against a Noctowl. So this is a pretty good matchup. I would say it's a neutral one all around. Both of us are going to be dealing damage with the wing attacks and also with these Dragon Breaths from the Altaria. So what I'm going to try to do here is I'm going to first take a Sky Attack on my Altaria. That's fine. And then I'm just going to go ahead and fire off a Sky Attack of my own after a little bit. Or actually try to catch a Sky Attack on the Registeel, which I wasn't successful in doing so. But I do end up baiting out a Medicham, which is great. So I'm going to take this move here. They end up going for a Power Punch, which is fine. That's usually what Medichams will end up running as the safe switch. It's usually a Power Punch Psychic. You don't really want to run Power Up Punch and Ice Punch on the same moveset here. So I do get the attack drop here from their Zap Cannon, which is great. So I'm going to let this next move go. And at this point, they do go for another Power Punch, going back to raise their attack again. And I am able to reach another Zap Cannon here. This is going to be putting pressure on the Medicham to shield or to let it go. So they do end up shielding, which is fine. No attack drop there, but that's okay. At this point, what I'm going to decide to do is just wait out my switch timer, and I believe I do come in with the Altaria here. So I will give up a shield here on this move, which arguably was probably a mistake here on my end. I didn't really wasn't really counting here how much they were at, but I'm able to farm down the Medicham here, which is good. And I also did notice that it's a little bit of an underpowered Medicham here for 1422 CP, but that's fine. The Sky Attack will take out my Altaria, but I do go for a Moonblast actually, and they catch it on a Dunsparce. And that's good. I have the Deoxys-Defense over here to handle the Dunsparce. So this is perfect. What I'm going to do here is go for a very ambitious counter down. They can throw Draw Run after Draw Run here, but again, it doesn't really hit hard coming from a Dunsparce. As you can see here, Deoxys tanks that no problem. So I can safely no shield the next Draw Run here. At this point, my the hardest hitting move that is going to be coming across against the Deoxys will be a potential Shadow Ball coming from the Noctowl. So again, just going to continue to counter it down. I'm pretty much almost at 100 energy here. So I'm going to go for the Thunderbolt straight away. I'm almost at another one pretty soon. So after like 1 or 2 counters, I'm at the next Thunderbolt. So yeah, it's after 2 counters here. So I'm going to overfarm just a little bit. Although unfortunately I do throw in CMP, which Noctowl does win. But luckily I do have a shield, and I did just have the Noctowl use their shield against that first Thunderbolt. So that's perfect. Now I'm going to go for a Thunderbolt again here. This is going to be nearly taking out the Noctowl. And just with 1 or 2 counters, that will take out the Noctowl. So that was a pretty close game. Very well played to my opponent there. And hopping into the next battle, we have Altaria up against a Shadow Nidoqueen. You don't really see that too much anymore. So this is fine. This is a neutral matchup. Going to stay in here a little bit, but they do end up safe swapping into an Umbreon. So this is okay. The Deoxys doesn't really want to see this. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to stay in for a little bit. And then I think I did go to a build up to a Moonblast and throw it here. I wanted to force a shield, or at least do some good damage here against the Umbreon. So that's what I decide to do. I farm up to the Moonblast and throw it up against this Umbreon here. And I do get a shield, which is good. So now I can swap into Regi, which is fine. Regi can tank all the damage here from Umbreon, no problem. Umbreon doesn't really hit particularly hard. And of course, Regi is also a pretty good tank. And I do have a shield advantage. So this is good for me right now. I'm going to again take another foul play here against the Umbreon. So I'm going to overfarm here just a little bit by a couple more lock-ons. I think I build up to around almost 100 energy, and then I'm going to throw the Focus Blast here right away. So Focus Blast here will be shielded actually, so that's fine. I'm going to again no shield the foul plays that come from the Umbreon. It's going to get me a little bit more deeper into the yellow, but that's fine. And I think the opponent does try to catch a move here, but I did have a Focus Blast ready here, and I guess the Umbreon was in the middle of their Snarl animation, so the Focus Blast does come in and about take out the Umbreon, so that's good. Now I have a 2-0 shield advantage here. And they are probably going to come back in with the Nidoqueen, which they do, just because the Nidoqueen can pretty safely wall off the attacks here from the Registeel. And the Nidoqueen actually does try to go for a very ambitious Poison Jab down. So that's fine. I'm going to go for a Focus Blast here that does about half their damage. And at this point, the Nidoqueen, as you can see, is trying to farm me down with double resisted Poison Jabs. But that's fine. They are forced to throw anyway. So at this point, I'm just going to let the Registeel go. So that's fine. Registeel gets taken out here. I can come back in with either Pokemon. But I decided to come here with Altaria. And I was afraid of a potential Stone Edge here, but I think, again, that might have been a misplay here on my end. But that's fine. I'm just going to go ahead and farm down a little bit more, although they do end up having another Poison Fang. But that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and let this go and trust in Deoxys to close against whatever they have in the back. And they come in with a Mandibuzz. So this is actually not too bad here, but I do have one shield, so that's actually fine. I'm going to go ahead and let them throw the first move here. This is perfectly fine. They do have foul play, which is fine. It's more consistent damage, so I'm going to be throwing the Thunderbolt here after one more counter and after the next Air Slash goes through. So Thunderbolt will be getting the Mandibuzz into the yellow, so all I need to do here at this point is just reach another Thunderbolt, and it should be game over from here. And I can safely shield this next move from the Mandibuzz, and then have the Thunderbolt loaded and ready to go here against the Mandibuzz. So, yep, just shield, throw the Thunderbolt right away, and this is going to be knocking out the Mandibuzz. And yeah, that's going to be a great game. Very well played to my opponent there. Alright, and we're hopping into the next battle. Altaria up against a Lantern. And before we move on to this battle, I will say, of course, as you can tell, I did lose the first game. But we ended up winning the next 4 games to get a 4-1 here in this set. So here we are up against a Lantern. This is a pretty neutral lead. The Thunderbolts will still chunk though, and they'll still do a pretty good chunk of damage, as you can see here. What I'm going to try to do is go for a Moonblast, and this Lantern is running Charge Beam. You don't want to run Charge Beam here. You want to go for either Spark or Water Gun. It really does depend on what you're trying to cover. And at this point, I'm going to come in with a Registeel and attempt to lock on down, but they do end up coming in with a Venusaur. So I'm going to go ahead and fire up a Zap Cannon here. Both the Zap Cannon and a Focus Blast are actually resisted here against the Venusaur. But in return, the same thing here can be said with the Venusaur. The Frenzy Plant and the Sludge Bomb are both resisted as well. So this is fine. I'm going to go ahead and tank a move here from the Venusaur. It's most likely going to be a Frenzy Plant, although it is now 1 stage debuffed, so still does a good amount of damage here. I'm going to overfarm here a little bit, but they do end up having another move here at this point, which is fine. Again, I'm going to let this go. This is resisted damage here. So I think I overfarm a little bit. I'm at 100 energy right now, and I'm going to go for the Focus Blast. So this is almost going to be enough to KO the Venusaur here, but they actually do shield. So this is fine. I'm going to go ahead and build back up. I did try to catch a move on the Altaria, but I was unsuccessful in doing so. So I am going to give up a shield here. I want to draw out that Lantern again, or whatever else they might have in the back. So there we go. There's that Lantern. And again, this is fine. I can safely no shield here. It's going to go ahead and farm down and then see what they have in the back. So at this point, I'm just going to go ahead and farm down the Lantern. And they do end up coming back in with the Venusaur, which is fine. I can farm that down as well. And what do they have in the back? They have a Noctowl, so this is good. I'm going to go ahead and fire off a Moonblast here up against a Noctowl. This is going to be doing some good damage here, or getting a shield, which is also good for me. Now at this point, I can come in with either Registeel or Deoxys-Defense. Doesn't really matter at this point. Both of these Pokemon can handle the Noctowl pretty well at this point. So I'm going to come in with Deoxys-Defense here. All I need to do is just reach a Thunderbolt, and then the Registeel, I think, does have a move, or almost has a move banked. So I'm going to go ahead and tank a move here to just throw a Sky Attack, which is fine. So I'm going to come in and then throw a Thunderbolt here right away after they get off a couple more wing attacks. Not enough to KO, of course. This will put the Noctowl into the red. And then at this point, I can just swap back into Registeel, and because I almost have the Zap Cannon ready, sort of a little combo play here. This is going to be absolutely more than enough to take out the Noctowl. And that's going to be a great game. Very well played to my opponent there. And we're moving into the next battle here. We have another Galarian Stunfisk. So what you do here, I decide to, again, safe swap into Registeel. This is probably the softer quote-unquote counter here for Galarian Stunfisk. If you're using this team, of course. Deoxys can handle the Galarian Stunfisk as well with the counter damage, but of course, the only bad thing is it doesn't really have a lot of charge move pressure. You just need to counter down as much as you can with Deoxys-Defense here. So I'm able to get off a Focus Blast. This does force a shield from the Galarian Stunfisk. Now the Stunfisk cannot mud-shot me down. This is only a Rock Slide, so I'm just going to call the bait here, hoping that it's a Rock Slide, and it is. which is good. And I'm able to survive on 1 HP, basically, and then get off another Focus Blast here up against the Galarian Stunfisk. So this is awesome. But they are going to Mudshot me down at this point. That's fine. Now I can come in with Deoxys here and start putting in some counter damage up against the Stunfisk. So I will have to commit 1 shield here. Definitely don't want to take an Earthquake just yet. So gonna counter, but they end up coming in with a Swilus. So this is actually pretty bad as well. I did try to catch a move here on Altaria, but I think I was a little slow, and I thought this was going to be a Dark Pulse, but it only ended up being a Body Slam, so that's fine. I did accidentally trigger a Thunderbolt. That's really not what you want to do here. But that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and build back up to a Thunderbolt here, I believe. And then, well, actually close to it, and then I decide to just use the Altaria here to soak some damage against the Swilus. The Swilus is going to fire off a Body Slam. That's fine. And of course, I think at this point, the Galarian Stunfisk is going to come back in. But that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and let this move go. I can take a Rock Slide here from this point, no problem. They need 2 to KO, so that's okay. What I'm going to do here is go straight for the Moonblast. Even though it is resisted, it is still going to do a pretty good chunk of damage here to the Stunfisk. So that's fine. Yep, just going to go ahead and do as much Dragon Breath damage here as I can. And then I think at this point I do decide to let my Altaria go and leave the rest up to my Deoxys-Defense. So the Galarian Stunfisk takes me out, and they do have a Pelipper, so this is good. What I'm going to do here is fire off of Thunderbolts. Of course, I still have a lot of energy on my Deoxys, which is great. This is going to be definitely knocking out the Pelipper. And at this point, all I need to do is make it to a Psycho Boost. I'm just going to go ahead and commit the shield here. So yeah, as you can see, it took really a team effort there to take down the Stunfisk this time around. So I believe that, yeah, this team is pretty good, really bulky, and there you go. The Psycho Boost takes out the G-Fisk. Great game, well played. And yeah, that is the team. Altaria, Registeel, and Deoxys-Defense. Another team that I can highly recommend you all to run in case you want to get some elo. You want a nice bulky team to power through a lot of the meta, as you can see. Yeah, this is a team that I can confidently recommend you to run. And again, credits for this team go to PogoGrind. If you want to give his channel a shout out and support, feel free to tune into his channel, watch his videos, give his videos a like and subscribe as well. And of course, if you like the content that I put out here on my channel, you guys can definitely feel free to give this video a like and thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. And of course, if you guys want to stay tuned to the latest and greatest Pokemon Go videos that I will have upcoming here on my channel, definitely hit that notification bell so you'll know the next time a video comes out. And yeah, that's going to be it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.